So, we're going to the airsoft field. What am I supposed to bring? I feel like this is a pretty common question asked, so I'm going to be doing my best to show you just what I bring. Obviously, first of all, bring your replica. It's pretty important to go to the field. You need something to shoot the bad guys with. I have mine fitted with a red dot right here, which means that I need to be ready in case this breaks. And so if that does break, I bring my iron sights with me that I can attach onto the gun to make sure that I can still aim and shoot, even if that fails. If you have an iron sight, you don't have to worry about any of this step, but if you do have a red dot, make sure the battery works before you leave. It wouldn't hurt to bring an extra one, but 9 out of 10 times, you'll be fine. Obviously, don't forget your battery. Batteries are very important. It's what runs the gun, obviously, and make sure this is charged. So, obviously, you don't want to show up to the field and your battery be dead. I charged mine the night before. Make sure it's fully charged before you pack it up. Don't leave it in your gun whenever you get home. You'll forget about it. Just make sure that once you charge it, you bring it with you. Don't plug it up to the replica or else you could run out of charge with that ghost juice that comes out, as I like to call it. So that's it for the replica. Obviously, you're going to bring magazines. So this is a high cap mag, which is one that you just dump BBs inside of. And it's got a little crank here at the bottom and it feeds BBs into it. I barely use this. I really don't use this at all. I take this so that I can give it to somebody if they need it, or if I'm letting somebody borrow my gun. I don't trust them with my magazines, that they're gonna lose them. Just give them this magazine. I bring a dump pouch with some necessities that I need. So one's a cloth for face protection over here. I put this on, this goes over my neck and bottom half of my mouth, and then I get the top part of my helmet right here. That way, all I need is my eye pro. So coming off of that next, these are the goggles that I use. Usually I would wear glasses, but recently I got some anti-fog goggles. So how these work is there's a little battery pack here on the back and a fan. It keeps air running through those lenses to make sure that it doesn't fog up. I don't have a problem with that. So that would go on over my eyes like this. It's full seal. Obviously you don't want to risk not having full seal protection, so just make sure you always bring something to keep your eyes safe, because airsoft is all fun and games, but eyes are one of the things you can't replace in this game. So make sure that you are taking absolute precaution whenever dealing with eye protection. Sometimes referees are a little salty and specific about what all you need to cover up your mouth. I use this, and if they get mad at me and say I need a full face protection, I take this with me. This is a mesh mask for more of a full seal. I don't really usually have to use this, but it's never bad to have it to make sure I can play. Finishing up with the rest of the rig here, I take a chest rig with me. This is my personal use one. This makes pretty much all firefights easier for me. Get strapped up. That's on. This makes sure that I have everything at the ready. I have this little empty space. I can put either my phone or a speed loader there or something like that. But in the end, what good is all of this if you don't have your magazines? So let's not forget magazines here. I carry 3 mid-cap magazines for my AK, and those all go in the pouch to make sure that I've got all of those. So all 3 of them sit nicely in there. Before I go to the field, I go ahead and load up my chest rig with these magazines. I don't load the magazines. I don't like keeping the springs under pressure overnight. I just like to keep my things up and running as long as possible. And then I have my pistol magazines. So I have 3 of each. These typically you'd be able to put in pistol pouches, but since these are stick magazines, I can't. So I have to keep these inside of my main pouch. Obviously, those go on my sidearm. This is not loaded right now, but this is a CO2 firearm, and I will keep on my side. I have a holster for it. In order to keep that pistol running, I bring standard CO2s. Cartridges are actually what power the air gun. So I use these and they go in the handle. So I'll take about 3 of these with me, and that will last me more than enough for the day. Don't use the pistol a whole lot. Typically I can get away with just using 1 cartridge because it's a sidearm, okay? I'm firing it nearly as much as your AEG. So this is my other dump pouch. This is one that I actually keep on my leg whenever I am playing the game, but whenever I have my belt on me, this hooks on to my rig right here, and then once that's on, this part goes on my leg to make sure that I have something that I can, if I say I finish with a speed loader, I can simply get it out of the way by throwing it in this dump pouch, tying it up and leaving it there. I don't have to worry about it. It's nice because then I can have less time worrying about, oh, where am I going to put this? I got to put it back. Taking all that time whenever you're under the pressure of fire or something. I have my holster, obviously, where the sidearm goes. This I'll keep on my belt, on my side right here, so I have a quick draw opportunity. Mine has a buckle on the back of it to make sure that it stays nice and secure while I'm running all around. I think is a very useful thing in Airsoft because that way you don't lose your sidearm, no matter how expensive it is. Bring an extra pair of goggles. So these are not my main use goggles, but it's another pair in case I need them. If my other goggles fail or crack or something, these will be a quick replacement, and it's also useful in case somebody else there has eye protection that fails. Make sure their day isn't ruined either by bringing that to them. One of the things I have in my belt is this pouch here. It has a pistol mag pouch, and I have my dead rag in here, so whenever you get shot, you can pull out the dead rag, so that way people know exactly who they're supposed to shoot at. Me, obviously, since I'm already dead. And then it's got an extra little back pouch right here. I keep a little wipe so I can wipe lenses or my red dot sight. Very useful. This pouch right here is what I use to carry my CO2 cartridges. Just a small little Swiss Army pouch. Unzip it though. As you can see, I've got some in there from last time I went and played. Looks like I didn't use any of my additional ones, so that will go with me. Keep extra pair of glasses with me. On the field, it's good to just have some with you. A lot of times in this Airsoft games, you really need to think, what if, no matter how unlikely it is to happen, people bring things just in case. That's something where you can go as extreme as you want, or all your gear works. I will say though, it's better to have too much than too little, because if you have too little and something goes wrong, it can ruin your entire day of play. You might have only gotten 1 or 2 games in, you don't get to play the rest of the day. Nobody has a fun time after that. One of the last things I bring is a speed loader, but this one is larger than the small pistol speed loaders. This is a rifle speed loader. It's got a crank on it right here. Loaded up with BBs, and then whenever you use a magazine, it clips onto the bottom and you can crank it out really fast. Helps me load BBs more efficiently. I don't typically take this on the field because it's very heavy, very shaky. It makes a lot of noise. Typically try to keep all my magazines loaded before I go into the field, and if I run out of ammunition, I can call myself hit and go back to the respawn point to reload. If I'm doing a full auto game, sometimes I'll take my large magazine that I can just crank and wind so I don't have to worry about running out of ammo. It's just little things like that that keep me ready for any scenario. And I bring my knife with me. This is not a real knife, it's just rubber. It doesn't cut or bend. Really just for fun. This is definitely not a necessary tool. In fact, you're probably not going to get a single kill with one of these on the field, but they're fun to have. LARPing or anything like that. So, lastly, finally, if you're like me and you run cameras on your helmet or on your gun, this little box, keep both my GoPros in. It's my main GoPro. This one has a mount that goes up on my helmet. That's the one that you'll see most of my POVs from. And then I have a smaller GoPro that actually clips onto my gun, facing back at me so people can kind of see my face. So here's the attachment piece. This will go onto my helmet right here. So I can stick this on. There we go. That's good. I make sure that that doesn't fall off no matter what I'm doing. And I can quickly take it off if I need to charge the GoPros. Now that is one of the only problems with GoPros is the battery runs out really fast. So I always make sure to bring the chargers with me. I have a portable battery pack I take with me all the time. I make sure that's fully charged, and in between rounds, I'm making sure these things are on the chargers. If they're not, they die in the middle of a game, I'll lose my recordings, it's not good. And yeah, so that's what I bring with me to the field. In terms of what you wear, I recommend pants are very important on those fields. There's thorns, there's sharp twigs, rocks, all this kind of stuff. You really don't be running around in shorts. T-shirt, I would say it doesn't matter as much. Wear a short sleeve t-shirt with maybe a long sleeve on top of it. Never really wear a jacket. Typically I'm running around enough where I'm gonna get pretty quickly. Make sure you bring an extra shirt, extra pair of socks, things like that. Sometimes you'll get wet, sometimes you want a miserable car ride home, so switching into comfort clothes is very important at the end of the day. And one last thing, make sure that you try to pack everything in the same bag, maybe 1 or 2 bags, but it's never fun to be running back and forth between your truck and the table that you're setting up your gear at. And so just make sure that you've got something to carry things in. I have a duffel bag. This carries all my gear, so everything I'm wearing all goes in here. Cameras go in here, all that good stuff. I will keep my gun in the box to make sure that it doesn't get damaged on the way over, and just make sure it has a safe ride to the field. And typically I'll carry a small backpack of some kind with me on my back so that I have something separate. I can put like my extra clothes, maybe my lunch, cash, something like that. Some just things that are necessary outside of maybe airsoft and being on the field. Necessities for what you need when you're not. So things like that. But yeah, pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry, it's kind of a low budget video. I just thought of this in my room and now I'm recording this here, kind of sounding like an idiot. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the field someday.